Guys, welcome back to Rise and Grind. Happy Monday. We're so glad to see you here. It is 9 a.m. on the dot, and maybe you're home in your office, maybe you're on a train, maybe you're going somewhere right now to work. Whatever the case is, I hope you have had a recharging weekend. Meg, did you know that most people wind up starting their weeks with a low battery?
I bet. Especially because on the weekend, like that's the time that you finally get to do stuff around the house, right? You're doing
do your own things.
Yourself, but you have to be able to recharge.
Yes,
too, right?
but the one thing though is that and this always gets me is like, people will meticulously make sure that their phones are charged, their laptops are charged, this is charged, that charged,
True.
But they don't charge themselves.
That
and
is
so
true.
At the end of the day, guys, take the time to figure out what you need to do to recharge your batteries and make sure you do them. I typically try to do them obviously on the weekends and each day. Meditation has been huge for me particularly, but figure what that is for you so that when you are in that mode of getting out there and performing in your career, being a parent at home, being a wife or a husband, and whatever you got to do outside and inside of work, that you can be your best self in those situations. Mm-hmm. But we have a lot of things that are going on in the world of marketing and branding. And with that said, I'm going to say that right now, right here first, if you know a business owner, an entrepreneur, or somebody who is looking to build their brand or grow their business or just understand what's going on in the world, send them this link that you're seeing this on today, because the goal is for us to get information to the business owners, entrepreneurs, executives, and salespeople so they can get ahead of the competition, because the world of marketing and branding is changing dramatically, and we're here to give you that information. So with that said, let's dive right in, Megan, and let you kick it off.
All right. Instagram is testing carousel posts in Reels. And you probably have seen this where you're scrolling through Reels and all of a sudden you get a still image.
Yep.
I'm like, wait, what? And
what is this? Yeah.
can actually swap through the post. So it's really interesting to see still images making its way into Reels. But you can also post multiple videos within a Reel now too, and just kind of swipe through. So it's that. You may not see that feature available on your Instagram per se. It is rolling out rather slowly, but you might see it on your feed. So what does that mean for you as a business? You can now put out more content in one single post than you could have before.
Yeah, right.
But keep in mind that it's a still image, right? People want to see video. They want to see excitement. So you still need a hook. You still need to be pushing out really relevant and exciting information. It's just in a new format now.
Yeah, and that's, again, more content, the better. Obviously, you want to stay on quality, right? Quality is important.
Yes.
But so keeping in mind, you want to make sure that you are putting out content. Again, Instagram's giving you a way to put out more content, but just make sure you're sticking with quality versus that quantity, because ultimately that's what really wins in the long haul, right? Yeah. So the dream is to be able to do both, right? Put out quality and quantity, right? Together, that's the dream, right? But if you can't, it's important that you make sure you know the differences and you post quality versus one or the other.
And that the right content is posted in the right format, right? So if you have information that should be shared as a video, don't try to squeeze it into a still photo.
Right.
Yeah. What do you prefer? Do you prefer photos or videos on?
Videos. Yeah, videos all day. Yeah.
Okay, short videos.
Short vids.
Really quick.
Short vids. Yeah. Those are the ones for us that we are really, really focused on, really dialed on. And ultimately we want to make sure that we're leveraging it. And again, I'm most captivated by the video content. So for me, when I'm watching a picture or seeing a picture, and it's funny, back in the day, it was picture is worth 1,000 words, right? And now you look at it in retrospect and you're like, because of how much content we're consuming, it's like the new drug, right? People are seeing so much content and they go to it and they're obsessed with it. They want to keep swiping and see, women or muscles or money or this or that.
Or
and
just the audio. The audio keeps them going, right? You're going to listen to audio over and over and over and over again.
So that's why when you think about it, a picture, I don't think is worth 1,000 words anymore, which is so crazy. It's so flat.
Yeah.
So obviously video content wins. But that drives me into the next topic here, right? So the next thing I want to talk about, guys, is when you think about where the world is going. I see so many people that are live streaming, right? These Twitchers and kick people, they're getting $1 million+, $20 million deals, right? For doing just live streaming their lives, literally, are playing video games, and they're making multi-million dollars, which is absolutely bananas when you really think about that, right? You go from being in a world where people would like, parents would say, like, obviously when we were growing up, your parents would be like, hey, get off the video game, get outside, go play football, right? Go have fun, get dirty, whatever, right? And that's what we did. But now, when kids are looked down upon for playing video games and stuff, now they have an example to say, well, hey, this kid has made $19 million in 1 year.
Doing what I do.
Playing video games. Yeah. 19 million.
It's crazy.
So there's a reason why I'm bringing that up, right? So the Gen Z and Gen Alpha, right? We're starting to see that streaming and live streaming, especially for video games, podcasts, things like that, are really, really big. And it's important that we stay in front of these people and that we have the ability to make sure that we're doing that. So actually, we're in the process of starting to test this. So literally starting like this week, we're going to be testing Twitch, Kick, all these different things, just to test it out, right? Because when I looked at like today, I was looking at their podcast sectors for both of them. Literally, there was like 300,000 people currently observing podcasts, the things. So it's like, all right, let's test this out. Let's see what it's all about, right? So we're going to test it. But why am I saying this? Because at the end of the day, as a business, as a brand, as a nonprofit, charity, whatever it is that you are doing out there, right? People want to consume content of you. Essentially, the crazy part is with like you ever hear the Truman Show with Jim Carrey?
Yeah.
If you haven't, essentially, definitely look it up. Good movie, Jim Carrey. But essentially, he grows up as a baby, and he's almost on like a 24/7 reality show. And they're watching his life from a baby to an adult, and then out of nowhere, when he's an adult, he realizes he's on set somewhere, and he's in an actual movie, right? And he's being filmed his whole life.
Yeah.
But that's what people want to see.
Yeah.
People want to see you in your day-to-day. They want to see you in the
your
car,
natural habitat,
going to the meeting, doing this, doing that, going through challenges, like arguing, whatever. So why am I bringing this up? So as a sales professional especially, right, what I've seen trending so much lately are these door-to-door solar energy, whatever, they're door-to-door knocking and selling. They're starting to record this, and these things are going viral because some of the reactions they're getting are nuts. Right. Some of the different things that are popping up are absolutely bananas. So point being is, start to test in your business, right? So the only thing that we know for sure is if you test something and it doesn't work, then it's definitive that, hey, at least I tried it, it's not for me, right? Most people don't test things and just assume it doesn't work. So I'm bringing that up because you have to start testing this live streaming because right now it's going crazy. And you see a lot of people doing really well on it, building their brands on it, making money on it, and getting in front of more customers and people on it. So with that said, check that out, Twitch, Kick, and all these other platforms. You can go live stream on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on YouTube. Obviously, those are all the platforms, but you should be testing out all of them. If you're a real estate agent, do it at an open house. Walk through the house, go stream on all of them.
Absolutely.
Walk through the property, show them the house. If you're a doctor and you have HIPAA compliance forms signed first, if you're a dentist, better yet, do a quick filler or whatever, or show the patient before and after, whatever. Just start to create content like that and just test it. See what happens from it. Maybe you'll get more patients, maybe you get more awareness. Who knows? Anything can be possible, but with the world we're moving into, live streaming is really amping up. So you got to stay ahead of that.
Yeah, people want to be the fly on the wall in the room.
Yes.
Yeah. All right, the next trend we have is Meta is prompting advertisers to boost posts from Instagram and Facebook. If you're boosting it from your phone, don't do that anymore. Do it through your desktop. And the reason is because Apple just released a policy where they're requiring digital purchases to have a 30% service charge. So if you're boosting a post for $100, you're going to see a 30% service charge on that post as well if you boost it from your phone. So that's a big service charge, right?
That's
especially
huge. 30%? Are you kidding me?
And the bigger the budget, the bigger the service charge.
That's crazy.
So you're not going to want to boost from your phone anymore. Make sure that you're doing that on desktop. But Meta is under a lot of scrutiny right now with the way that they're charging businesses. And that's my next topic that I'll actually skip over to right now. They had to apologize because after an ad error got out to a bunch of different advertisers, they found out that they were overspending in campaigns by thousands. A Meta glitch made campaigns overspend by thousands. And not every advertiser can get a full refund on the amount that was overspent.
And a picture of being a small business owner, you got a bakery, you don't have a lot of funds, you're putting a little bit out there, all of a sudden you get a bill, and you're like, whoa.
The scary part about
Wait a
this
second.
is, yeah, it's really
Yeah,
scary,
yeah, wow.
especially as a small business, because you
Yeah.
might have said, hey, my budget is $500. I can't spend more than $500. And because of this ad error, there have been businesses who have overspent, that $500 budget now turns into $5,000 that you owe Meta or that got deducted from your account. So it's a big error and one that's really hurting small businesses. And it sucks because there was already a lot of trust issues building between businesses
And Meta.
advertising on Meta. And now this happened.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to start to see an influx in people moving away from advertising on Meta.
Realistically, the tough part about Meta, right? They're the biggest social platform out there in the universe. They have a gazillion plus, they have like billions of people that are users on the platform. And, ultimately, like all these issues keep popping up with them.
Right.
So it's really like again, we've had some meetings with some big blue chip corporate enterprise companies recently, and a lot of people want to break up with Meta, right? They're like, how do we not spend ad dollars on Meta? How can we take it somewhere else? And I think Zuckerberg is extremely creative. A lot of people think he's snaky and and snake and sneaky and this and that. But ultimately, he always figures out a way. He's very resilient. I'll give him that. He figures out a freaking way. So hopefully they figure it out, right? But right now they're losing a lot of trust, and apologizing for that and not being able to get money back. That's like going to a restaurant, sitting down, and there's like a $10,000 steak on the menu, and you go, I'm just gonna get pasta and butter, because I'm balling on a budget here. And then all of a sudden, boom, you get a $10,000 bill and you gotta pay it.
Yeah.
Right? And then they're not giving you the money back. It's crazy.
Right.
So absolutely bananas.
It's crazy.
But again, we'll see how that plays out.
Yeah. Speaking of Zuckerberg, I just saw a video of him recently at a UFC fight. Have you seen this?
No.
It's like Zuckerberg trying to act like a normal person at a UFC fight. He's trying so hard to just blend in with everyone around
Oh
him.
my
You
God.
could tell there's so much on his mind. I mean, there's been a lot going on with Meta over the past.
Well, he was just at Congress. He was at Congress because of like them saying that he has blood on his hands for sex trafficking for children.
Yeah.
Like, and he has kids. Like that's a really crazy thing to be like accused of.
Yeah.
From him being the leader of that platform and it not having the safety guidelines for kids properly like that. So,
Absolutely.
I couldn't imagine sitting there and I know me being a business owner. When we were at the gala, 2 weeks ago or so, I'm sitting here. And and I have stuff on my mind, right? And I can imagine him. He has 1 billion plus users on the platform. He has hundreds of thousands of employees. He's in Congress because people are pissed off at him. So anyway, the list goes on and on. Nonetheless,
Yeah, he did a good job trying to blend in with everybody around him. But you could tell, like he just has a lot.
He looked like a fish out of water, didn't he?
He looked like a fish out of water. Yeah.
I definitely want to see that.
Yeah.
But speaking of all this, I think the one thing that I want business owners, so moving on to the next topic, the one thing I want people to just really understand, right? And this is more of a shout out to small businesses. So there's so many people out there, that are starting, thinking of an idea, building a business, building a nonprofit, doing these different things. And so many people like that are in their own networks are not supporting them. Meaning like they're not a brand gladiator for them. They're not going on, they're not liking posts, they're not sharing, they're not creating content, and building a buzz around that business, or that organization. And it blows my mind. Because the first thing that people will do, like if they had a bad steak, like we talked about a couple weeks ago, was they're gonna go run and make a negative review, right? But people that are in our lives that own a business or an organization, typically we don't support them. And that's crazy to me. We need to get better at supporting people again, the way that we once did. I remember like when I was younger, my next door neighbor was like a carpenter, a guy across the street from us was an electrician and stuff. And my parents were always, hey, you got to go talk to Mike. You got to talk to this person. And it was like, that was the move then, right? And we've shifted because now, instead of going to Mike, who might be a little bit more money, you go online, you find somebody half the price of Mike, right?
Cheaper,
Which is understandable, right? But there's more information at our fingertips. But loyalty and support has gone so down, right? And I just think that's a big, big issue. So, anybody watching this, my challenge for you, and not just this today or this week, but this year, is to figure out how you can better support small businesses, organizations, nonprofits, your friends, your family, people that are out there doing something, right? Like, I love that one quote that Margaret something said, never doubt a group of committed citizens, to save the world, because in fact, it's the only thing that ever has, right? And so when you think about it, like, we need to be resilient for the people around us too.
Right.
And I feel like that's gone down the tubes, and we're so focused on things that don't matter. Like I always bring this up. I was like, no, who cares what Kim Kardashian's doing? Who cares what Kylie, whatever her new name is,
yeah.
Jenner, thank you, is doing? It's like people care so much about those pop culture things, but they're not putting enough time and effort into
Their neighbors.
their community people,
Yeah.
And that just blows my mind. So, that's my quick message there is like, guys, go support your local friends and small businesses and family and organizations because they need that support and
Right.
they rely on it. So I definitely want to just throw that out there. The last thing I want to talk about, okay, for salespeople out there is do not doubt the capability of you leveraging the people reaching out to you on LinkedIn, right? I started thinking about this. I'm like, damn, how can I build my network, outside of, because ever since I started adapting, I always focus on how I could build my network more and more and more. And it's funny, I found myself when I first started the company, I was going to all these networking events all over from New York down to Atlantic City all the time, nonstop. And then as I scaled and the company got a little bit bigger and I got more busy, I stopped doing it as often and eventually stopped doing it totally. And then I moved to going and just doing it virtually. So like I would reach out to people on LinkedIn, reach out to people on social channels just to connect and to get some synergy. But when I started to realize, I'm like, wait a second. On LinkedIn, I don't know about everybody else out there, but I feel like it has to be. I have a gazillion people messaging me on LinkedIn at all times.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I have every day, no joke. I go to my LinkedIn every day, and I have close to 20 to 50 new messages every
believe
single
it.
day. And I started thinking about, like, okay, these people are reaching out to me, right? So that's an opportunity for me to go in there and say, hey, let's connect, right? Because in most cases,
reverse Uno card them.
100%. I'm gonna turn it around on them and be like, I'm gonna sell you something, right?
That's so funny.
No,
That's
but
that's a good strategy.
yeah.
though.
Well, I had a call with a CPA because obviously Adapting Social, that business is B2B, right? So it's business to business. So all the people reaching out to me that are like a tax person, an attorney, or whatever, I'm sitting here and I'm like, all right, well, let me see if there's any synergy. So I reached out. I tested this like a couple weeks ago, and this one lady reached out named Valerie. Shout out to Valerie, and I just sent her my synergy link, and I was like, hey, listen, like, the world I'm in obviously reached out to me. If you think that we can help each other in some way, book on my Calendly link here. We had a call and we wound up having some synergy, right? Like legit synergy. Normally, I just go and I mass delete all those freaking emails. I'm so
Right.
sick of reading them.
There's a lot of them, yeah.
There's a gazillion. So anyway, long story short, I'm getting some decent and meaningful relationships and partnerships out of doing that. So now it begs the question of, should I go through my spam folder? Should I go through here? Should I go through? So my point is if you're in B2B sales, or if you're in sales in general, think about that. There is a wealth of potential, even just partnerships, right? You could help them on something. They could help you on something. And they're just living in your spam and in your LinkedIn and other areas like that, in your inbox, on social, Facebook, whatever.
Right.
So I've started to test it. So far, I'm picking out, some diamonds in the rough. So I'm enjoying it right now. But my point is that as salespeople, most of the time, we're looking for that edge. Where can I get another client? Where can I get another this? Where can I get that? But there's potential partnerships living in all of your inboxes. You're just ignoring them. So I challenge myself and my sales team to go in and to start doing that. And we're seeing some decent results from it.
Right.
So if you're out there, you're looking for more sales, start to test that out and see how that plays for you. Maybe you won't, maybe it'd be a total waste of time. I don't know. But test it out. And as I said earlier, the only way to know something definitively is if you test it and you see it for yourself. But all right, guys, first and foremost, thank you for your time and attention. We're so grateful for all the people that have been tuning into our Rise and Grinds. Obviously, it's the start of your day. You're getting after it. And, the one thing, as I keep saying time and time again, nobody is going to come to make you a better person, to make you a better leader, to make you a better husband, a wife, a son, a this, or that, whatever. Why we do Rise and Grind is because you are the pilot. You're the driver. You're steering your own ship. And if you're not growing, if you don't have the information to make your business better, your organization better, yourself better, then you're not going to grow. We had this conversation, this morning where it's like most people in organizations and most humans just in general, we're all effing lazy. Just by nature. We all want to be, for the most part, if I interviewed 1,000 people, right? If it was up to them and they were all totally rich and didn't have to have a job and stuff, most of them, I think, some of them would still work, right? But most of them would be sitting on the couch chilling, enjoying themselves and relaxing because it's natural. Humans want to be comfortable, right? So if you're not prompting growth, you're not going to get growth. So that's what Rise and Grind's about, guys. And if you know any entrepreneurs, business owners, people who lead organizations, anybody who's looking to get information to help build their brand, grow their organization, and get themselves out there, send them this, please. Like, share, comment, and create an amazing rest of your day, guys. Take care.